بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا، إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. يا رب بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم. يا كريم يا وهاب افتح علينا فتوح العارفين. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I humbly beseech Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to send countless blessings and salutations along with my own upon the master of creation, Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow them in excellence. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for the countless endowments that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala bestowed upon us, and the greatest of those endowments after the endowment of existence is the ni'mah of al-Iman, is the endowment of faith. And al-Iman, in reality, is certainty. It is all of Iman is to know that nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And in reality, all that exists is subjugated under His will and power and evidenced through His knowledge, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We won. We won. And after every victory, there should be a celebration. There should be rejoicing. And for a brief time today, I want to celebrate our victory. For me, after a year long of work from the African American Islamic Summit 2022. Until this past weekend, the summit, African American Islamic Summit 2003, the fifth African American Islamic Summit 2003, we finally got to see how hard work pays off. And I'm going to share several things with you. And it's our celebration, but really it's my encouragement. So a general our celebration. Yes, we all should rejoice. We won big time. But for me personally, it is a source of comfort and encouragement and divine assistance for the work we must continue. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own struggle to do and have my share in this victory. Everyone should be posting your own personal stories on your own pages, right? The good, the bad, the smiles, the tears, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the familyhood, the 345, 3453 family. You are some beautiful people. Y'all soldiers. May Allah reward you all. Seriously, I'm sorry to be. Y'all are some soldiers. This 3453 family, y'all the truth. Y'all the real deal. And I'm going to be the Imam Boom Bap for a minute. When I see y'all, I get a DMX moment. Where my dogs at? Hey, that's how I be feeling. Like y'all some soldiers. This 3453 family. Man, y'all some soldiers. You don't get the whole backstory, so you don't realize how much that means to me. But I'm going to share some of the backstories, my personal. Just how momentous, how we say that? How great, extremely great. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us this weekend that what you can do when you follow the recipe of Jahid to Shahid. Subhanallah. So let me scattered thoughts, remember that. So I have so much joy in my heart. You know? Okay, Imam Fahim, I don't know why I got all these rap songs going through my mind. I don't know what you did to me. But you know, the summit, I'll describe it like this. Joy, pain, sunshine, rain. Pump it up, pump it up. That's how I feel. I want to rock right now. MashaAllah. I don't know about y'all, but man, I'm doing backflips over this summit. And I had a feeling this was going to be the best. I said it. I said, this is going to be the best summit we ever had. Right? Oh, you want to make fun, Muhammad? Or you want to crack jokes? You want to have linguistic jokes? You sure you want to do that? Miss Muhammad, that's what you want to do here? Oh, you like that keep sweat moment, right? Yeah. Hey, I don't mind begging, baby. I'm sorry, but I enjoyed myself. I had a ball, right? And you know something? So many doors opened. Watch out, Selena's in the building. Y'all better duck. You want some work? I'll give you work. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Selena, you my homie. That's Selima. Where's she at? I'm sorry, Selima. Oh man, you got me so confused. I didn't sleep in 3 days, so I'm a little crazy too. So don't, subhanallah. Last night, I scattered thoughts. Please bear with me. It's too much. Yes, Selena. Selena. I'm drinking so much coffee just to stay up. Um, I was talking to Imam Muawiyah and his wife. It's just like I don't know, it was 11 o'clock somewhere at night. And I was sitting in a chair, they talking, I'm just oh man. All right, but let me get my scattered thoughts in order. All right, where do I start? Let me tell you the story first. No, that wasn't her. That was another sister. So, I returned to Atlantic City in 2000, May of 2000. May of 2000. After being gone for 11 years. 11 years, I returned back to Atlantic City after 11 years. And when I got to Atlantic City, I'm going to share a story so you can understand why I'm so happy myself. You have your own stories, but I have mine. So I'm going to share mine, you know. I'm sharing. You be in they have the NA rooms, be like, I need to share. I'm sharing here. When I first came back to Atlantic City, see, this is my own personal experience. The Wahhabis had taken this city by storm. When I left, we had some Sunni activity, right? When I came back, the Wahhabis was dominating this city. That's 2000. To the extent that they had all the masjids, and the ones they didn't have, the one, which was Masjid Muhammad, they had really like influence and had it like, these are deviants, don't listen to them, they don't know nothing about Islam. And Islamic knowledge wasn't even thought about in Masjid Muhammad at all. They considered them just, black people need to go learn Islam. And I started teaching in my house, out my house. in the projects where I first came back, I was teaching in the projects in my house with a student here, a few students here. Whoever would learn would bring them to my house and give lessons. Because, I wasn't mixing with Wahhabiyya at all. And I remember the Wahhabis, they used to tell people he got his own religion because no one really was familiar with the true methodology of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So all those terms were like strange to people. Ash'ariyya, Maturidiyya, follow a madhab. I'm on Quran and Sunnah. I follow the way of the Salaf. That was the talk. So I was just in houses teaching. So I was going from my house. Then as we get a few students, we go to their house. Then as we build up, we go to community recreational centers. And we were teaching it. And they was warning against me, death threats, every daggone thing. And that went on for years. Years it went on. And one time, my sheikh, he used to visit America. And I went to visit him. My teacher, and he asked me about the previous Imam Khairi Shakur, rahimahullah ta'ala. He said to me, Amin, aren't you from Atlantic City? I said, yes. And he said, do you know Imam Khairi Shakur? I said, I know him all my life. He said, I need you to go help him. And I was shocked. I'm like, help you? Help him how? He's not like Ahl Sunnah like that. He's a good man, but he's leaning towards Wahhabiyya. He said, no. He has a group of Imams. Every time I come, they come to my house and visit me to take lessons. But I don't come here enough. I need you to go help them. I was shocked, but my sheikh, I said, okay, no problem. So it gave me the number. I called the Imam. And I knew the Imam since I was a kid, right? And I said, I talked to the sheikh and he said that you was learning and that I should come help you. He said, yeah, I need your help. The Salafis are trying to take over the masjid. That's what he told me. He said, I need you to teach the correct knowledge. I was shocked. Now, I want to take you to the history lesson. Me and that Imam in like 82, 83, I was a little kid, 12, 13 years old. And we used to be debating about Deen and like from a kid. So I knew him for a long time. So remember, this is like the early 80s when I knew him as a kid. And now here we in 2006, 7, somewhere around there. It's a long time. And I knew him in the prison because he was a chaplain in the prison. And so we were familiar with each other very much. And I used to be the inmate in Imam in the prison. And he was the chaplain outside. So we had so many dealings. I don't know if y'all know anything about prisons. In the prison, you have, depending where you at, you always have in the Muslims, the Imam who is an actual inmate. He's in the jail. And he's usually over the Muslim community. But the state or the government will hire a Muslim chaplain to oversee the inmates. That never usually works. The inmates ain't trying to have no employee from the state or government tell them anything, right? So they have their own Imam. So usually between the chaplain and that prison Imam, there's always going to be some conflict because who you working for, that's that life. So I was the inside imam, and he was the chaplain. And we were together maybe almost 2 years in the same institution. And I should have known back then that he was leaning towards Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah because of the books we used to talk about. But I didn't know what was going on in the streets because I was inside the prison. So I'm sharing. I'm sharing. Selena, you know what I'm doing? I'm sharing, sis. You know what that means, right? I'm sharing. Some of them can't identify with our stuff. So anyway, so fast forward. So when I come to the masjid, the imam says, I need you to teach. So he tells me, really ain't nobody trying to learn all this stuff because he's trying to navigate how to teach. So there was a young brother who was living in the masjid. I won't mention his name just to put it, but he was a young brother. He was living in the masjid. So the imam said, can you teach him and train him? So I said, okay, no problem. He'll let you in the masjid and you just teach him. So I used to come to them. I was still doing my classes in the houses, in the neighborhoods, in the community centers. I was still doing that. But I would go to the masjid and really wasn't nobody coming to learn. But I would teach this one young kid. So I was training him to be a teacher and be an imam. And we used to just meet in my office now, but was the imam's office at that time. And I would give him lessons, right? Teach basic books of fiqh and aqidah, little tasawwuf, right? But Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And I was actually training him to give the Jumu'ah services. So after him learning, he developed to where he was giving sermons and leading the prayer and actually able to teach classes. As we started bringing others to the masjid, to those classes, because he's a young guy, so he was getting other young guys. We started bringing more. The elders of the masjid, they got threatened and they locked me out the masjid. They wouldn't let me in. Ironic, show you how life is funny. Life just goes in circles. Those same elders, when I was a kid, locked me out the masjid when I was a kid. So it's a lot of victories in this summit. That's why I'm giving you this long history lesson. And so I stopped coming because I'm still out doing classes in the community. We're having classes regular. Our classes are growing in the community, even though we don't have a masjid, because all the masjids, remember, are controlled by the Wahhabiyya. And so I stopped really going to the masjid. I would talk to the brother on the phone and teach, but I ain't fighting with all that stuff. So the imam saw me, said, why you haven't been in the masjid? I said, they locked me out. They won't let me in, and I don't have time for that. He can come to my classes, in the community center or to my house. He said, no. He ordered them to give me a key. He said, give him a key. And then to make sure, he said, I need you, whenever I cannot be there, to do the Jumu'ah services, the khutbah and the prayer, whenever I'm not there. And he was not originally from Atlantic City. He was from Philadelphia, which is about an hour away from Atlantic City. And he worked in the prisons. So sometimes he couldn't come. He was smart. Imam Khairi Rahimullah was very wise. Sometimes you don't see wisdom till later, because all what we're seeing today was his vision, not mine. The way it is now. My vision was just people to be Ahl Sunnah, not what's happening. That was his vision. I'm going to explain why. So he started having me do the Jumu'ah services. And because he was traveling Imam, he wasn't a resident of Atlantic City, I was doing most of the Jumu'ah khutbah and salah, the services for Jumu'ah. Prior to me becoming the Imam, I was the main one doing it. And there was another sheikh from Africa. Me and him would split it. Then I trained the other person, and it was 3 of us. So which made it easy for him. So now he has 3 people to give the Jumu'ah. He has me to teach what he was trying to learn with the sheikh. He has me doing that, and he can do his work, be with his family, and it all works out. Very wise man. Now, this is hindsight. I see that. When it was happening, I didn't understand all of it. I honestly believe he was a wali of Allah. I do. I no doubt. In my mind, he was a wali of Allah. No doubt. And if I talk about that side, that's a whole nother thing. So now that I got a key, now that I'm giving the Jumu'ah service, I can go for it. I'm teaching, the masjid's open, I got students. I'm actually running the masjid. I have the sheikh from Africa who was Azhari, Ashari, Shafi'i, Sufi, just like me, but he was much more mild-mannered. I'm a little bit, as y'all see firsthand, I'm a little bit, rough a little bit. My nature is like, go for it. He was more, subtle, calm, Sufi, more, but the same as me. So now the whole masjid is Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah from the leadership point. You still have your board of administrators, but you have the Imam staff, and all of us are Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. All of us, right? So now we have a consistency. Look at the wisdom of this. So this happens from like 2006 to around 2008. 2008 or 2007, because I'm still going back and forth overseas. So this had to be around 2005, 2006, 2007. If my mind is right with the numbers, don't hold me down to the dates. I'm getting old and I sometimes forget my name, right? So don't hold me to the actual year. I don't remember well. But anyway, I know it was after the years of Lebanon and traveling between Lebanon and overseas a lot. I was doing a lot of stuff overseas. And when I came back from Syria, so they had to be 2007, maybe 2006, 2007. I just don't remember the exact year. But anyway, it was after, because I was in Syria with Sheikh Samir. So it was after that, because the first thing I did in the program was bring Sheikh Samir to America. So it was after, so it had to be around 2007, maybe 2008. And I said, listen, I want to bring Sheikh Samir to America to start giving lessons. When I was in Damascus, I told Sheikh Samir that I'm going to open up the way, inshallah, to bring him to America. Could he come? Because Sheikh wasn't in America, he was in Syria. But I didn't have no place to take him. But now I had the Masjid Muhammad, this big masjid, and y'all were there, so y'all see the size of Masjid Muhammad. It's a block long. So I got a big building now. So I brought Sheikh Samir to America. And the first lesson we taught was Al-Aqidah Tahawiyah, together. We completed the first book with a chain of narration. And the Imam was alive there at the service, so we had that. And boom, that was the beginning. Fast forward 2 or 3 years later, the Imam dies. Rahimahullah rahmatan wasiya. Let us recite Al-Fatiha to the soul of Imam Khairi Shakur. Al-Fatiha. So we have that first conference, weekend conference. The masjid was struggling. I used the conference to raise money for the masjid with Sheikh Samir, because at that time I was trying to help the masjid. So I knew bringing the sheikh, I would bring students, because I knew students who were in Syria, who studied, and they came back to America. I knew people, and I knew the level of Sheikh Samir. So I brought all these people to the masjid from all over the country. So to see the Imam, and the Imam was very happy. It was the first time he saw the masjid filled like that for people seeking knowledge. And once that happened and the money came in, the board people kind of lightened up. They still wasn't with the teachings, but the money that was generated kind of say, all right, this guy might not be as bad as we think. We just need to give him a chance. So from that, I was able to bring other teachers because they saw the success of the program. So I was bringing sheikhs from all over the world: Egypt, Yemen, Syria, Morocco. I was just bringing teachers. We've had so many. All of my teachers, Lebanon, from all over the place, have come to Masjid Muhammad and give lessons. It became the norm, right? All of my colleagues that studied overseas, just Masjid Muhammad became a place of just knowledge and knowledge and knowledge and knowledge of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So I was teaching in Mecca Center in New York. I was Imam at Masjid Muhammad, and I would teach on the weekends in Manhattan, in Mecca Center. So now I'm in New York, in Manhattan, right in the heart of New York, 43rd Street, 43rd and 5th Avenue. Easy access. We're teaching. I taught there for maybe 5, 6 years, right? Met a lot of students, college people, people of influence, all of that. They became students, right? Your homies from your crew in Mecca days, they came to the summit. I was so happy to see them. And they started a business too. We're going to share that with you. That little crew you used to hang with, Abdul Wali, they came to that summit. It was a beautiful, beautiful gathering. That summit is a nice place to meet people from all over the world. Literally. I'll get there. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Khalil, as I talked to him too. We'll talk about it later. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. So anyway, I'm sorry. Uh, um, where was I at? Told you I'm getting old, losing my thoughts. Where did I leave off? Please help me. I forgot. And I'm tired, so take that in mind. Imam, where I left off, Imam on the boom bat. It's coffee. I got to get a stronger batch. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. So I was in Mecca Center, and they had a huge budget so I could bring my teachers. So I brought some of the most world-renowned scholars to New York and Mecca Center because they had the budget. So I could bring my teachers from Saudi Arabia, from Yemen, from Egypt, from Lebanon, from Syria. I have contact with a lot of teachers. And when I have the budget, the money, now we can do a million things, which Masjid Muhammad didn't have as a poor African American community. They have that kind of budget, because to do those big programs like that, bring those scholars, you got to have money, right? And with the Mecca Center, I had that budget at my disposal. So I would bring teachers from all over the world, right? And teach texts. So Mecca Center gave me a huge push for access, which is, I learned that early. If you have the operating budget, you could do things. Without the budget, you can want to do things, but, as the old saying says, the one who does not have a thing cannot give it. So with that budget, it changed the whole game. So Mecca Center, I definitely owe Sister Noor Aisha. I haven't heard from her in years. If she's alive, may Allah preserve her. And if she passed, may Allah raise her rank. Because she was a real support for the work we're doing today. Because she really put in that work. She was a lioness for us to spread Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's a whole nother story, but one day I'll tell that story. Because all of these things is over a span of 2 decades to see where we're at today. So you just see the summit. You don't see all the stuff that precedes it. 20 years of work to do what we're doing today. So now I got Mecca Center budget. So what would I do? I would do the program in Mecca Center, bring the sheikhs for a week, and then bring them to Masjid Muhammad, take them other places, because now Mecca Center is funding my da'wah work. So now I could go to my community, because Mecca Center it was an affluent college, university students. It was me who brought Black people there. And let me say it that way, because it was an exclusive club at one time, but now your main teacher is a Black guy, right? So I brought a lot of Blacks through there. And, you always got us that go somewhere else. But now that you got a Black guy and he's the head teacher, it's going to bring, us and get us involved. So the Imam dies in 2010, maybe, I don't know, 9 or 10, rahimahullah. And now they have to get a new Imam. But I was the main one leading the community, even in the life of the Imam, because he had stopped coming the last year. He was so sick, and we didn't even know he was sick. We were just running everything. So he had a nice transfer of passing the baton. So when I became the Imam, Now I'm in charge. That means now everything is in my hands. The leadership, the resources, the masjid. And my thing was, now we really going to teach the knowledge. So we started bringing sheikhs quarterly, bi-monthly, monthly, bi-weekly, sometimes weekly, because now I have the masjid. This is going to become a place of knowledge. And the first thing we're going to do is exclusively Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And people didn't like it, but I'm in charge. Don't make a difference. I'll be honest. So we went full steam ahead. My students from Mecca, my African-American students, women, you got to understand, they were all women. The main one to say, I said, I need help to do a summit. Because now I'm spreading, I'm all over, I'm traveling. I have 2 budgets to work with now. So I'm moving with support. I got 2 budgets. I tell my students at Mecca, because these are all, they're in university, all of them, master's degrees, doctorates, some of them. You got educated people, right? Among those educated people who was like the main students was Sister Noordine Knight, right? As you saw her on the stage, giving a talk, giving a lesson, leading with the panel. She was, at that time, she was a university student at Columbia University. So you had her. She was one of the main students. You had my wife now, Sister Leslie, who was a graduate from Temple University with a master's degree in project management. And you had another sister, Sister Samira Muhammad, who was a business executive and business management and real estate. So I had 2 African-American, well, I think Noordine is by Trinidadian, I think, origin, the family. No, she's not, I don't know, Trinidadian, Jamaican, one of them. Forgive me, Noordine, if I'm mixing it up. But timically born in the African-American community in New York, in Brooklyn, I think, Brooklyn. So typically, as my wife is Trinidadian, but born in Maryland. So she's African-American in experience. So I have this crew, and Sister Samira is Somalian and Kenyan mixed, but they're all educated Black women, right? Highly educated and skilled Black women. They're working with me at Mecca Center, organizing notes, putting the form, because Mecca Center is not, you can't have scattered thoughts at Mecca Center. It needs to be a curriculum. It needs to be books. It needs to be syllabus. It needs to be course. It needs to be, all that stuff. And that's not how I teach. I just get books and go like I learned. But because they're all, university students, professionals in the business world, that's how they operate. So they would do all that. And put everything, they was like my staff. So I said, I want to do this African-American Summit, something for our community that we're going to put together. At that time, Noordine Knight, Ustadha Noordine, she is really the strongest of the female students. She's memorizing, she's learning books, she's working while she's working on her master's at Columbia University. So she's working. So she's the real student of knowledge. The others are just taking classes. They're learning, but Noordine wants to be a scholar. She wants to be a teacher. She wants to work in da'wah. So she's a little bit more focused, not just for herself, but she's going to teach. So I spent like a lot of time teaching her. So I said, you lead the group of the sisters and make this happen. And the first, I think that was 2017, the first summit. Those 3 women put on the first African-American Islamic summit. And I remember we got attacked because there was at that time, it was only imams on the panel. And we got attacked by some of the women who feel that we should have a bigger voice and we're not giving our voice. That's their spirit. I won't call them other than that. Their spirits felt that women don't have enough strong voice and we need to be on every panel and we need to be in front. That was the feeling. And all of this misogynist behavior you guys are doing, just the imams, just the men, all of that. They thought that we actually did it. It wasn't us. And those 3 sisters came out and said, we're not taking that. And it became like, we women, we put this together. And we support our imams. And I remember that it was funny. And Noordine actually wrote a whole refutation on Black feminism as opposed to scholarly Islamic approach to leadership. I remember she wrote a fiery letter. She was kind of upset. And, she's a college student. She wrote something, I don't know where it's at, on the internet somewhere, after the first summit or before the summit. And that was a success. This is a long story, right? But you got to see where we got to. So we do 1 summit, we do 2 summits, we do 3 summits. Then we partnered in the 3rd summit, we partnered with a group. I won't mention the group. And they tried to redirect the focus of the summit. And I wasn't feeling it because the summit was designed to be a grassroots African-American movement that would impact people on the ground in their everyday life, not an intellectual think tank that only has the Islamic elite among the African Americans and you poor people get out of here. I don't like that type of behavior. And that's where they was trying to have. So only certain people should be on the flyer because it's going to bring in money, because it's going to bring in, stop. We're not doing that. I can remember this stuff. And subhanallah, that was amazing. So what I did, because they had a little funding, they started their own Black conference, renamed it, but it was the same. It was like an underway of undermining the African-American summit, Islamic summit. So instead of fighting, I stopped the summit. And everybody wanted to, no, just fight. I said, no, Blacks don't fight each other. Let them go ahead and do it. If they're successful, then we got the same objective. It don't have to be us. If they are successful, let them do it. So we just stopped the summit. They had summits and it failed. I think they had maybe 2. And after that, it flopped. And the speakers from our summit, who I told them, they came to me, I said, go, we're not doing it. Go to them. They came back to me and they said, Imam, start the summit again. Start the summit again. I said, if they're having a summit, I'm not doing no summit. They said, we're not going to their summit anymore. It wasn't a summit, it was called a conference. We're not going no more. Aisha Prime and others, they're like, we need one for the grassroots. That's not grassroots. So I said, all right, if they don't do it, I'll do it. But that conference they had was such a flop that they didn't do it anymore. Then I waited a whole year. They didn't do a summit. I said, okay, we'll redo the African American Islamic Summit. And that was last year's summit. So it was a gap almost of 3 years that we didn't do the summit. So we did 3 summits, then I stopped for almost 3 years. Then when they all came, so because you got to see the whole background. They came, the speakers, they told me, do the summit over. We did it again. Last year's summit was an extreme success. So now we said, we're not going to stop. We did it. And then from the summit, we followed through all year. But now, remember, COVID happens. We can't do anything. So it's all online. We built this online platform. And now, because we teach every day, we got students, more students, people sharing. While we say people sharing, let's do some sharing. I only have a few minutes left, but let's share. Very important that we share, right? Sharing is caring, right? So let's share. All of us, let's share. We have work to do. Follow me, please. Everybody, right now, take a minute to share. Please share. I need your help. Please share, every one of us. Hey, listen, I like the battleground. Hold on one second. Let's do this. So everyone share. Can you open the other car door for me? Hold on one second. It's open. So we do this summit and we have the online. So we had been going for a year, going into 2 years online. While there was no summit physically, we were online every day building our family, 3453 family, with Masjid Mu'min and Kuba School, Imam Fahim Lee, and Imam Naeem, and the Black Imams Roundtable. We built a coalition. Small, just us 3. We had Imam Luqman Ahmed. May Allah give him, improve his condition. But, you know, we had some differences in terms of our Aqidah. So he left and we stayed with us 3. So over those 2 years, we built up our own following online. We had that 3453 family. Then we did the post-Fajr reflections, retreat. In between that, we started our summer annual barbecue, right? We did events. We traveled to different places. So the summit numbers were growing from our own family. Last year, we had about 200 people, 180, somewhere around that. It was a success. This year, we registered, we only had at 173 registrations when we closed registration for this year. At the summit, we doubled that number almost, if not more. We doubled the registration. Everyone was there. The summit was packed this weekend. But not only packed with us, people from all over the world were in the summit. They came from France. They came from Canada. They came from almost every state in the country to the summit, which means our impact is international. Subhanallah. At breakfast, I think that was Saturday morning, after Fajr, we had class. Sheikh Abdul Karim Yahya is teaching the class. I'm standing in line with an Arab guy. And I just, this African American Islamic conference, this Arab is at Fajr. My man, Ahmed ibn Battuta, may Allah reward him. I got to tell you a story, Habibi. Alhamdulillah wa shukru lillah, masha'Allah, tabarakallah. This brother, Ahmed ibn Battuta, we in line. And I'm talking to him. It's just curious. I'm like, this guy is Arab. What is he doing here? It's Fajr time. And it's all these African Americans and this Arab. There are some Caucasian Americans and a Caucasian Canadian there, but we already knew them from online, but I never recognized this brother who's a part of our family, mashallah. So I just asked him, I said to him, where you from? He says, France. I said, France? No, originally, because I knew he wasn't French. He said, Morocco, but I live in France. I said, okay, where you come from to get here? Like, I know where you're from originally. Like, where did you come to get here? Because I'm trying to figure in my mind, why are you here? Because I seen him in the gathering at night where we were doing an nasheed and things. So he was up front and in it. So I know he was here for the event. So this is my mind is just working. He says, I came from France. I said, no, in the country where you come from. He said, France. I just arrived earlier that day. I think he said earlier that day. And I was just like astonished. I said, you came for what? He said, I came for the conference. I said, how you know about the conference? He said, I follow you every day. I regularly listen to you. So, all right, you listen to me. I want to see if he's really following us. So Imam Fahim was next to me. I said, who is he? He said, Imam Fahim. I said, how you know? I said, how you know him? He said, through you. I see the black Imams around here. Allahu Akbar. I was blown away. That's an impact. And I love you, Sayyidi Ahmed. Barakallahu fikum wa jazakum Allahu khaira. May Allah make you among us salihin was siddiqeen, inshallah, and join you under the banner of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I remind you a hadith. I know you still in travel. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man kharaja fi talib al-ilmi fahuwa fi sabilillah hatta yarji'." Whoever goes out seeking the knowledge, he is in the path of Allah until he returns. Meaning that you're getting the reward for you coming to seek knowledge and to spread knowledge. You're getting the reward of a martyr so long as you're on that journey. And the martyr, the mujahid fi sabilillah, he has 100 levels in Jannah. And between each level is greater than the distance between the heavens and the earth. So long as you're traveling, and all of you who have traveled to Atlantic City, you're getting that reward. Don't think your time was wasted. Subhanallah. Man kharaja fi talib al-ilmi fahuwa fi sabilillah hatta yarji'. That one who goes out seeking the knowledge, they are in the path of Allah until they return. You're going to get that reward. May Allah increase you, Habibi. MashaAllah. That give you the summit can't be described in words. I told you got to be there. Where is my sister Patricia from Texas? And I'm going to show you online, you don't see stuff. So that was my experience with him. Then I see this elderly Caucasian woman. She has on a black garb, a black hat, black glasses, short older lady. She rose up in the masjid, strutting it. I'm like, what the heck is going on around here? She comes up to me. Salaam alaikum, Imam. Sister Patricia here. Subhanallah. I got to show you this. I hope she doesn't mind, but I got to show you this picture. I promise some pictures I won't show. I won't show it until I ask her. I'll show you later. Those saw Sister Patricia. Little short, elderly Caucasian woman. Maybe if she's online, she's still here because I have to see her after I finish. She's short. I said, where are you from? She said, Texas. I said, Texas? But I remember her. She's always online. I thought she was black. She's a little elderly Caucasian woman. I think she's like 75, 76, somewhere around there. She drove 6 days from Texas to come to the African American Islamic Summit. Over 73, 74, 75. She told me, might have been 77, Allahu Alam. But between 73 and 77, she drove by herself 6 days to come to the summit. And she never missed Fajr. She was up 4:15 in the morning, strolling through to pray and sit to lessons. Man, she made me want to cry. I was talking to her Sunday morning before Fajr, and she's just a ball of energy. That's the African American Islamic. What do you say when you see that? You got Sister Fatima, over 70. She came all the way from Canada. Not well. She came all the way from Canada to be at the summit. You had another sister, Patricia, came all the way from Canada to be at the summit. These are people elderly people. Pains, right? Bad knees, ailments, but they didn't miss the summit. Put us to shame when you think about it. As young people, like, look at this. This is almost a karama. Look at what's happening here. Numbers all over the place. And we were setting up. The directors of the building was like, do you need all this space? I said, yeah, we're going to need it. Better to be safe than sorry. Packed. People from all over the country. Everybody following this 3-4-5-3 family and saying we're going to get it done. I got to stop now. That means I got to but I'm going to continue of my reflections, and I'm going to bring in different imams. We're going to talk about the whole summit this week. And we wait until the reader gets back home, and then we go back and hit the books. So I told you yesterday at the summit, and I'll close for this for right now. We did what we did, but day one, we back at work. Summit's over, but we just beginning. The summit is over, but we're just beginning. And I want to say something before I close out. Everyone, copy this. I would like all of you to copy that. The summit is over, but we're just beginning. Can everyone put that up? All of you, put it up. All of us, please put that up. I need all of us, put it up, please. The summit is over, but we're just beginning. Fill the comment sections up with that. I need this to be our slogan for the next 3 months. For the next 3 months, I need us to be reminded of this. To remind ourselves, this is going to be our slogan for the next 3 months. And it will serve as a reminder that we ain't through. We just starting. Right? The summit is over, but we're just beginning. And that's going to run across the screen for the next 3 months. With other things, the summit is over, but we're just beginning. I want this in our mind. I want it to be fixed. Because the summit is only going to be as successful as our work ethic. The summit and all of our work is only going to be successful to the degree of our work ethic. Some people, the summit was a little bit much for some. Some, even that stuff, the talk about polygyny, and it really was triggering for a lot of people. But I'm going to tell you something. Healing is a job. It takes time. And before you can heal, you have to cure the sickness. And before you cure the sickness, you must identify the sickness. When you identify the sickness and you realize you're sick, it hurts. It's painful. It's emotionally draining. But you have to go through the surgery in order to remove the sickness. And when you have the surgery, there's going to be pain management after the surgery. But eventually, after some time, you will heal and you will be restored to good health. We as a people have illnesses, not one, sicknesses, diseases. We can't deny they exist. They exist. Stop running. They exist. Deal with it. I know it's painful. I know you're afraid. I know it's emotionally draining. I know it's a stress, it's a trigger. I got all that, but we must get through it. If we're to win, if we're going to be successful, we can't keep running. And we must be successful in this deen, in the dunya, and in the akhirah. We have to take it on head on. No duck and wreck. We can't. No duck and wreck. Even if I'm the one the bullets are flying at, bring it. We're going to continue to fight till we win. Don't bail out because it get hard. I'm not that kind of person. I'm sorry. I don't quit. My car don't go in reverse. It only knows forward, as someone said to me one time. My car don't go in reverse. It only goes forward. I'm not ducking no wreck, and I don't want you to either. Even if we lose the fight, we getting back up and we fighting again tomorrow. We're going to fight until we win, period. If you with me, that's what I'm going to do. If you're not ready to fight, don't hang out with me because I'm going to start a fight. Count on it. I'm not going to duck wreck. I'm not going to do it until we win. And we're not going to win until we meet each other in Jannah at the house of the Prophet ﷺ and drink from that beautiful basin and enter paradise in peace and safety. That means we're going to fight until we see the reality of wa'bud rabbaka hatta ya'tiyakal yaqeen. Wa'bud rabbaka hatta ya'tiyaka al-yaqeen. Worship your Lord until death comes to you. That's where we at. When we going to stop? When we die. That's when we stop. When we stop? When we die. That's when we stop. No matter what we have to go through, no matter what we take. So, lastly, I always say lastly and keep going, right? But this is lastly. We set a goal for the summit to raise $100,000. At last count, because now we have paperwork to do and debits and credit cards and all that stuff is papers. We've been busy with the summit. That's going to take a little time for us. But we already at 50,000 and a little above. It's above 50,000 already that we raised during the fundraiser. That's what is actual money we raised. Besides, we didn't hit nobody's credit cards or anything. We didn't do any of that. That was just money that we received, over $50,000. That lets you know we're serious as a group. And I promise you that money, every bit of it, will be used to educate us and further our mission. This ain't about us. This ain't about, man, let me get some relief. No relief, work. This money will be used for da'wah. That's where we're at. We're going to go meet our people. We're going to continue. We're going to teach. Just like I started from house to house, community center to community center, state to state. We're going. And we got, y'all saw the group we have. We're coming. Is that my Deion Sanders voice? Boom bap? We're coming. We're coming. We're not going to stop. So you did the work. You came there. Let's not quit. Don't take a few shots and now you ready to bail out. We took some shots. Let's roll. No problem. I can take a punch. I hope you can too, because I'm going to hit you back. Right? Let's roll. Let's get it done. And now we've come together, but it's only going to expand, inshallah ta'ala. We stay sincere. We keep working every day. No quitting. Every single day. Let's get it. No stopping, no resting, no, I gotta breathe. No, I've been working all week, all day. I ain't getting no sleep. I only got 2 hours of sleep. I only got 3 hours. So what? Stop crying. Let's get the busy. Get up. Let's work. Stop crying. We got work to do. Our future generations are counting on us. Get busy. Stop it. That's my attitude. But I know that's what we need to win. Let's go. I know you limping. Let's go. Get a crutch. Come on. Get a cane. Let's go. We got to move. Are you throwing shots, Imam? Are you taking it personal, sister? We just talking general. We just talking general. Why you got to take it personal? You know, they say you throw a rock in a crowd, the one who screams. Nah, I know it's rough. I know I'm a little bit much to deal with, but I'm trying to win. I want us to win. We got to work. We can't make excuses. We got to get it done. Right? We got to get it done. It's too many people that's going to take a break. They're going to find an excuse to break. But we got to keep moving. We have work to do. We have work to do. Especially you young people. We got to work so when you are in charge, you have a standard to go by. You won't say, we can't do it. You say, look what these people with no knowledge, no skills, no manners, look what they did. We can't do less. Raise the bar. Don't lower it. Raise the bar. Every time we go, move it up a little bit because your muscles will get used to work. And then we're going to grow. You follow what I mean? Let's go. Let's get it. We ain't even begin. So, as our thing is saying, I'm going to end this with this, and I promise that's it. My last words. But I don't want us to forget it. The summit is over, but we just beginning. May Allah reward you. I thank you all, but it ain't time to rest. I'm up. I'm going. You get up. You're up. You keep going. Let's get it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.